Now, there's all sorts of really important detailed questions you could ask Andrew on that, because that's a really important issue about the relationship. I've got one taker up there who's already asked a question. Anybody? I'm trying to share this around, but if you are, it's all yours.
Andrew, in all the years you've been involved in council, you must have seen what I've seen over the last 9 years, which is a complete and utter disconnect between local board and councils. Now, that exists very simply because the power at local government level rests within the executive of the councils and the senior council officers. And it doesn't matter what we the people do. We've marched, we've spoken out, we've placed petitions, we've gone to the government, we've gone to the Royal Commission. And we are constantly disregarded, ignored, and in general told to butt out of the business of local government. Now, I'd like you to give me a practical way that the local community, apart from the hypothesis of these boards, where we can actually affect change and say, we don't want a motorway through our neighbourhood, we don't want sewage going in our harbour, we don't want our heritage landmarks destroyed. And there is 100 years of history of local government, whether it's amalgamated or split up, that shows nothing but a disconnect between the boys at the top of the pyramid and the people below. So give me a way you're actually going to connect us up.
Thank you.
Well, there's two ways. On the political side, for instance, this term of council, I put in place that each of the community boards, we have 6 on the North Shore, 2 of them for every council meeting would come along and present their community board's position for the month for that quarter. And I was the first mayor to do that on the North Shore. So they can come along and speak to the whole council about their board issues, 2 per month. And then the executive who's sitting there at the meetings have to go away and action what they have come to the council to request. At the same time, I've also made sure that I've got out around the community boards, but also I've made sure that our executive interacts with those community boards as well. And that's very important. Some cities, and I'd have to say I think it's probably Auckland City is the one that's probably the worst in this regard. From the top down, they don't make sure that the executive does work with the community boards. For instance, when they were having the inquiry into the Royal Commission, we facilitated all our community liaison through our community boards, and we got the community boards to arrange the public meetings and have the community liaison. In Auckland City, they tried to do that. The community boards were turned down to have those meetings, and in fact, when they asked if they could put on cups of tea and coffee for the people coming along, they weren't even given budget for that.
Thanks. John, do you want to respond to that in some way? About how Auckland City has been handling the question of those community boards?
Well, I was previously, in a previous life, Minister of Local Government, and I did not know much about the way in which community boards work, because when I was on the Birkenhead Borough Council and then on the Birkenhead City Council, we didn't have community boards. So I learnt quite a lot about community boards and the way they work at grassroots levels as Minister of Local Government. Sitting behind me are 2 City Vision councillors. They're not of my political persuasion, but they're members of the Auckland City Council. One of them is a particularly active member of a local community board here, and I worked with her recently to get more money for the upgrade of Mount Albert that has gone backwards over a long period of time. One of our beautiful, iconic pieces of real estate that we've inherited. And we've worked successfully on that. So the local community board, the local community member and the local community councillor works to get things done. You can work. You've got to put political persuasion aside. You've got to capture common ground and common sense. I'm committed to community boards because unless we get these local boards working with high quality people, then we won't be a greater Auckland, because the best democracy is served by local people making local decisions with local money around their own ordered priorities.
Great words.
Fine, thank you very much indeed. Now, Simon, I'm going to turn to you next about how you as Mayor would help build this sort of engagement out around the city.
At Gettysburg, Abraham Lincoln defined democracy as government of the people, by the people, for the people. For Auckland, I define democracy as transparent and accountable government of Aucklanders, by Aucklanders, for Aucklanders. Democracy in the city is and must forever remain a constant and informed dialogue between people and power. First, we must get our democratic house in order if we are to achieve our dreams. The new structure must serve Auckland and all Aucklanders, and crucially, Crucially, local boards must be fully paid and fully incorporated into the democratic process. We must assure full and fair and effective access and representation to individuals and communities, to Māori, to all who call Auckland home, whatever their ancestry, politics, income, or sexual orientation. Our diversity is our strength. In so many ways, we are already a world in union. This concept must be encouraged and nurtured. We must ensure that every voice can be heard and that every Aucklander has a fair chance to contribute, to participate, to excel, and to enjoy the world's highest lifestyle and best quality of life. We must rebuild a sacred bond of trust. Government is there to serve the people, not the other way around. And the Mayor has a crucial role as the people's advocate, ambassador, cheerleader, and champion. He, most of all, is there to serve the people. Or she. I stand corrected. He or she is there to serve the people. He is not there to conspire against and siphon the people for political gain.
Slow learner.
We must provide reassurance. There will be no sale of public assets. Council-controlled organisations shall remain in control of the council. All elected officials shall remain loyal servants of the people. Dove Meyer Robinson serves as my role model. We must provide for the disadvantaged and disenfranchised. Finally, we must heal our wounds and make peace with the past. We must provide a swift and equitable resolution for the suffering in our society, for those many innocent Aucklanders trapped in the mire and misery of the Leaky Homes disaster, to those many innocent Aucklanders stung by unethical traffic enforcement, to those many innocent Aucklanders struggling every day just to make ends meet, to those many Aucklanders suffering under the pernicious, pervasive and insidious effects of domestic violence, abuse and addiction. A house divided against itself cannot stand. We owe it to Auckland, we owe it to ourselves, we owe it to our forebears and all who shall follow to work together and to make it work. For more, go to simonprass.com.
Thank you very much indeed. A question for Simon about the poor huddled masses of Auckland or any other citizen. Yes.
I'm Caroline Mabry, and I can't resist asking you this question, particularly with your quote about Gettysburg and of the people, by the people, because I'm actually one of those ratepayers who isn't paying their rates in Waitakere City. It's sort of awkward because nobody knows, you know. But what do you think about why people like me, out of desperation, would decide that I don't want to pay my rates? Can you understand that?
I can certainly understand your frustration, and I guess it is incumbent on whoever becomes the mayor to connect with people like you, and I'm sure that there are many people like you. I mean, why aren't you paying your rates?
No, I feel so sad about it because I'm so proud to be where I am.
Is it a political statement or?
Not for me. I'm just saying it is because my voice, I haven't contributed to anything. I haven't voted. I haven't been consulted about this super city. And it's really upsets me. And I even know the councillors, even after the Royal Commission, were already planning the infrastructure for the super city so that they actually are at fault because the infrastructure naturally assumes the centralization of power.
I would assume the absolute right on behalf of the people to adopt, adapt or reject anything that we inherit from the Transition Authority to make it work for the people of Auckland.
Right, thank you.